How are we doing today? Water tastes interesting. I have my red flags. I'm prepared for today's stream. I got my new game. I don't have it yet. It's in the mailbox, but it's technically in my possession as of now. Pulled a muscle in her leg. All the major injuries were shut. Oh, all the major like hospitals and stuff were shut. I mentioned yesterday that my neck hurt, and I woke up with it still hurting today. I don't know what I did. I genuinely have no idea what I did. Oh, minor injuries is in like a minor injuries treatment center? Oh, okay. I don't know what we call those here. Like non-emergency, like clinics? I guess clinic would be the right word. Maybe. Kind of like there's like a non-emergency 911, for example. Yeah, for sure. Hospitals take forever regardless, so. Yeah, I went in for my Depo shot today. And I was the only person there. When I got there, there was not a single person in the parking lot, not a single car. So, I was very quickly in and out today, which was nice. Because you never know what to expect, so. I woke up at 1-ish, and I left at 2. Got there at about 2:15, and I left and got back here at around 3. So, the usual time. It's about a 15-minute drive over there, so. Yeah. I left a little after 2, but yeah. So. Yeah, so was I. I could have started at 3 if I really wanted to, but I figured I'd give myself some time to sit down and set up and all that jazz between getting home and starting, so. Had to talk to Max about some things and figure out our plan for the afternoon, because we've got to make a quick run to the store to get some salsa for the tacos tonight, as well as return some packages and stuff. So no, I just sat down. I don't want to stretch. Technically what I just did was a stretch, although I did it because my back itches, but what was I gonna do? There was a thing I was gonna do. Max, what day for the appointment? I forget what day it was.
I have no idea what you just said.
What day is the appointment that I have to take you to?
Friday.
I'm gonna see if I can request that far in advance. Ugh, I only have 3 hours of PTO. Ugh. That's what happens when I spend it all. Unpaid time.
I'm a little scared I'm gonna show up for the appointment.
Next month? November?
Yeah, November 18th. It's a Friday. And the appointment's at 11 a.m.
Okay. So it's gonna be reason for absence. Oh wait, go back. Custom. I want custom. I don't want the whole shift up. Start of request 0600 p.m. to what time?
I mean, I would estimate that we might be home. They didn't say how long it's gonna take. With a possible delay, hopefully we'll be home by 1. I would say. Is that reasonable? That gives us a full hour and a half for us to wait for them to perform the procedure and then for me to get up and on my way. So, I would say aim to be back at 1. And then if we're home early, what a treat.
So I just have to hang around and wait on you?
Yeah. You have to be there in case I like code or something.
If you code during an endoscopy, then you weren't meant to survive past the endoscopy. I don't know what to tell you. That's barely invasive. It's like the least invasive an invasive procedure can get, you know? Like, they're not even cutting you open. They're just sticking a tube down your throat.
And they're going to put a tiny little 2mm size monitor thing on my esophagus. And it's going to be weird.
Welcome to hospitals, yeah. My mom did it for my colonoscopies, so.
I sat around for my mom's colonoscopy. I drove her home.
And my mom sat around for mine. Look at that. Usually it's the other way around. It's supposed to be the way you did it, but, you know. It's supposed to be the old people getting the colonoscopies, but, you know.
Well, it's also supposed to be old people getting the endoscopies.
Yeah, my mom's had one too. She's had a couple, I think, for a number of things, but she's also had to drink the gross shit I had to drink for my colonoscopy for like for some of her medical procedures she's had done that weren't colonoscopies. She did just have one last time after we were there. She had one like that week, so.
I am genuinely scared that we're going to show up and I'm going to be super lightheaded because I'm not allowed to have any water for 11 hours.
I'm going to put 10 p.m.
10 p.m.?
Because that would mean I would need to leave here at a little after around 9, a little after 9.
So you're taking 4 hours?
Yes.
Okay. Up to you.
By then I will have earned more than enough time off to... I have it right now, but like, you know.
Okay.
6 p.m. to 10 p.m. The first break is at 9:30 to 10, so I'll be getting there right after they get off break. Because it's an unpaid break anyways, so I'm not going to be there for that. And it takes it by an hour anyways, so I couldn't be like, oh, I'll get there at 9:30 and then, you know, so. I've never actually had anything worse than an ear infection. Oh, also Jamie suggested that we throw you on the bonfire for November 5th. So I'm sure Max. I'm sure Max would actually prefer that method of that like order of events. So.
For sure. We won't have acid reflux then.
Doctor's appointments. So you have a follow-up call from HR about this time off request? No.
What
Next.
about HR?
I think it's just because I'm requesting time off so far in advance.
That you would need to call HR?
Can
I see what it said, or are you past that page?
I already passed that page.
Oh, okay.
They're not gonna call me. I don't want them to. It's saying balance after the request will be negative 2 hours. That's not correct.
That's why it'd be HR.
But it shows me the time that I selected, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. I'm going to submit it, and then if it's wrong, I can just go to HR tomorrow. No, it's fine. 18 to 22. Because it does it in 24-hour.
So
time.
it's saying that you have a balance of -2 hours now?
It shouldn't, no. It's not going to take it off until then, so I'll build and build and build until we get there. I've got 1 hour of vacation time.
How stellar.
I love that. Burn the devil out of Max. I think it's way past too late for that, but
That would be nice.
I mean, that over there is just mental illness. That's and now physical illness, Max.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting in on my side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be the physically ill one. You're supposed to be the mentally ill one, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We can't be stealing each other's things, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You do your job, I do mine. What's that alarm?
It's to tell me to fill out my planning sheet at work.
Mm.
So I need to go fill out my planning sheet.
Have fun. Close my door back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The breeze that I get when the door's all the way open is not comfortable, so... Dumb and Dumber, but sick and sicker. Correct. Huh? Surprisingly, Max is the sicker one, but... Who'd have thought? I wouldn't have, personally. I got so high last night. Like, to an unfun degree. I went to bed so early last night because I took half a gummy, right? And then it was like, it had been like 2 hours and nothing had happened yet. So I gave it another 15 something minutes and then took another half a gummy. And I guess maybe the first half was just really taking its time because usually it takes between 1.5 2 hours at the longest usually for a gummy to kick in. So I took the second half because I had the same issue last time, was that I needed to take a whole one to get to the right level of high. But for some reason, this one compounded on top of each other and just, oh my God, it was miserable. Initially, it was nice, and then it got really bad. And like I got up, I was like, I need to go to bed because I'm gonna end up falling asleep on this couch, and I need to wake up early in the morning. So yeah, waiting 2 hours. You usually like pop it while you're on your way home from work and you've got rush hour, or you're like, I don't know, you're about to eat dinner and you've got a couple hours before you need to be high anyways, so you just kind of plan in advance to do it. If you want to get high now, you got to find something to smoke. So, I went to put my water bottle away, and while it was standing there trying to fill up the water bottle, I started to feel nauseous because my vision was so fucked that my brain was doing the thing it does when I get motion sick. It was because my vision was so ass. Like I had to stop watching TV because my eyes, everything was just blurry, and like the brightness of the screen, like the light parts of the screen, like where things were white and things like that, were very like stabbing me in the eye. It's a very like, the balance you have to find is very specific with how much of it you have. Although I've discovered, regardless of how high I get, the whites of my eyes turn red. Like even if I just do like one puff of a joint, my eyes are gonna turn red. Even if I don't get high, they turn red if there's any of it in my system. Yeah. That wasn't fun. That wasn't the kind of high that's fun. The high leading up to that was fun. The calmness and the like heaviness in your body is nice. I mostly do it because it makes me sleep really nice. Case in point, I slept nearly 10 hours last night, mostly because I went to bed so early. This says I went to bed at 1:51 a.m. Did I really? I thought I went to bed closer to 3. That's another thing about being high on these edibles, is time is not a thing that you can calculate. Like I would sit there and just kind of be staring off into space and kind of zone out. And then I'd look up and it had been 30 minutes and I was like, no way, it's not been 30 minutes. What do you mean? I hadn't looked at what time it said I had gone to bed, but I didn't think it was that early. I do think I fell asleep on the couch at one point, so maybe that's what it's calculating. And then I woke up and moved to the like actual bed, and that's one of the awake times. I don't know. But ooh boy, do I sleep good after being high. So my normal time is closer to 5 or 6 a.m. So the fact that I went to bed at 2 a.m. is very early for me. Very early. At the time that I couldn't usually go to sleep at that time without being high because my body would just keep me awake. So because my body's not used to going to sleep at the time. Like for example, I need to go to bed a little bit early tonight so Max and I can watch She-Hulk tomorrow. I will be going to bed at around 4 or 5 o'clock instead of 5 or 6 o'clock. Well, here they're fairly easy to get because they're not Delta 9. They're Delta 8 gummies, and Delta 8 is legal, whereas Delta 9 is illegal. So there's actually a shop down the street that we go to that sells them. They're pretty expensive. I didn't buy these ones. Max did. I don't remember the exact price. Max said per gummy. Max would know though. So they're not cheap. I think like each gummy is like $3 to $5 per gummy, if I remember correctly. But I don't quote me on that. I don't remember because I didn't buy it. I can ask. To my knowledge, I don't know if you can buy actual like Delta 9, like the illegal gummies from, I mean, I'm sure you can from dealers and stuff, but from the people that I know that get from actual dealers and do the actual illegal stuff, they tend to make their own gummies with the stuff they buy. Max said they think it was $35 for the 10 pack of gummies. So, oh, the profit margins are great. The government could be making a lot of tax money if they just made marijuana legal, but because people are already paying their dealers a decent amount. So if it was also legal, you could get it shipped straight to your door. You didn't have to have the risk of getting something laced with something that's bad. Like they could charge pretty penny for that shit. You could order it off Amazon. Like those will be the day. It'll happen eventually. Yep, $35 for the 10 pack. So like $3.50 a gummy. Doubt it will hear. Not at the rate your all's government's going. I mean, with our Supreme Court, it's unlikely that they'll make it legal right now, but I don't know if they can just go around the Supreme Court and go to, I think Congress can do that themselves, but I don't see Congress dealing with that anytime soon. It's mostly just a state thing. Like it's a matter of getting more states to make it legal. Because we've already got a decent number of states that have it as legal, at least in medicinal purposes, for medicinal usage, that is. It's true. I mean, what better dream world is there than a high one? Like, let us get high. God, like, take the edge off. Like I said in one of the previous streams this week, I think treating weed like we treat alcohol would be the best path. Because me, at the level of high I was last night, should not be anywhere near a vehicle, let alone standing up. But there are some people who have a really high tolerance, and also, like, for example, the few times I've smoked weed, I was completely within my wits to drive, fully and completely. I'm very self-aware on those sorts of things as well. Like, when I can tell that, like, oh no, I should not be driving right now. Like, I'm very aware of that fact, but my reaction time wasn't slowed, my vision wasn't affected. I just had a nice little warm feeling in my head. I would have been fine to drive then, but all of the times I've ever had edibles would not be safe to drive. No. Absolutely not. So same with alcohol, you know. If you've had alcohol, you probably shouldn't drive unless you've only had like one shot, you know, depending on your tolerance, of course. Because there are some people that one shot of alcohol and they're done. Like they're blackout drunk, you know. And then some people, it takes 3, 4, 5 shots for them to even feel anything. So that would be me. That's me. I could drive with only 1 shot of alcohol in my system. So depending on the alcohol, I don't have as much experience with all of the alcohols, but 1 shot of vodka, I'm gonna be fine to drive. So, but I'd rather just not have that shot of vodka and then, you know, just drive anyways. It's always funny because the friends that end up making it work always like to do like, they always like to smoke weed and drink and all that stuff. And then I'm over here like, I'm good on the alcohol. And they're like, oh my God, a DD, yay. Because then they know that if they take me with them, I'm going to be sober anyways, and I don't mind driving. So they know they've got a dedicated DD, and none of them have to like pass around the responsibility, you know? So I was like, as long as y'all pay for gas, yeah, I'll drive you wherever. Like, I don't mind. Like, because I'm not drinking anyways. I don't want to. So I don't like being drunk, and it doesn't like, my body's not a fan of it either. So I can drink half a can before getting tired. Nine and a half hours of sleep. I'm still sitting here yawning like a bitch. Frustrating. Ooh. That's your mental illness? What's my mental illness? Being tired all the time? So that feels like more of a physical illness, personally. Yawning is built into your brain? Maybe. I mean, at this point, wouldn't surprise me. Alrighty. Let's finally get into the Redditing. Am I the asshole for staying true to my threats after my dad died? My dad died unexpectedly last week, and my sister Jess and I lost our mom last year to a mix of cancer and COVID. From how our family acted in the past over scavenging over dead people's things, both Jess and I decided to send out a family memo that no one is to enter or take anything from our parents' house until we get there. Both Jess and I worked on the West Coast, so it takes some time to get there with all of our kids and family. I saw several notifications from parents ring doorbell, and I am a lawyer. I reminded my family that we will prosecute. Jess and I are on the same page. Jess gets to my parents' house first and notices stuff is missing. And my parents had security cameras and an Alexa show. It's shown my cousin taking stuff from the house. So Jess did what we agreed on and called the police, and 2 of our cousins were arrested. Because it was over $1,000, both are looking at felonies. My cousin said my dad promised him this stuff, and I have my dad's will, making me the executor of the estate. I told him he should have waited to file a claim with the estate, and everyone was warned that this would happen. Jess and I don't have the best relationship with our extended family, and we are not dropping charges. Because of this drama, Dad was quietly cremated with no service, and we plan to hold one when scattered our parents' ashes at Jess's house in a tree planted for them. My last living grandma is upset about it, but she sided with my cousins and aunts, saying we are too tough on having them arrested. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You set the precedent. You set the boundary. You told them, y'all can come and scavenge like fucking evil. Like, what kind of behavior is that? Like that, like you can't wait a week? Like, what do you, like, that's such weird behavior. There's nothing quite so unedifying as the rush by distant family members to grab what they can when someone dies. Definitely not the asshole. They did this with my grandpa, then my mom. Came out right after her death asking my dad for things. So your dad had a will naming you the executor, and your relatives decided to steal from your dad's estate. Not the asshole. Yeah. Even if the deceased did want them to have those items, it's not theirs to take until the executor of the will says so. Because until the executor goes through everything, who knows? They might have to be sold to settle the estate's debts or something. Yeah. And 99% of the time, that claim is complete bullshit. I had relatives do this too. Oh, your grandpa told me he wanted me to have his van. I just looked them dead in the eye and said, what a shame that he didn't write that down, and lost their numbers and moved on with my life. There's a like life lesson here, friends. Always keep your wills updated. You never know when you could die. So if you have things that are worth putting in a will to give to people you care about or that you think should have those things, keep your will up to date. Find someone, whether it's a lawyer type or someone who knows things about the wills and things like that, and keep your will updated, especially if you are ill of any kind, if you are at high risk of things like COVID, things like that. You never know. You never know what life will throw at you, especially once you hit your 40s, like have a will, because you never know. Cancer could pop up out of nowhere. You could get in a car crash. Like, things happen, and if you've got a will that's outdated by 10 or 15, 20, 30 years, then that will isn't for example, one of the people that I watch online, Rolly, who you all probably know because I've shown videos with him in Luxaria before. He got screwed over due to the fact that his grandparents hadn't updated their wills. And the will had been written when he and his siblings were all little kids, but the grandparents didn't die until they were all adults. And due to this, they all only received $500 from, like, a piece from their grandparents' estate, which sold for like $70,000 or something. They were supposed to split that's like 70 to 80 grand between all of them, was the deal that they had made with the living grandparents while they were still alive, and with each other. And then because that's not what was in the will, because the grandparents didn't update the will, they got screwed out of that money. And instead of them getting it, their irresponsible older like aunt or uncle or something took all the money and stuff and like blew it all. So yeah, it's easy to forget about, which is completely understandable to forget about it. But yeah, it's an annoying thing and a kind of a sad thing to have to worry about and think about. But like, especially if you have kids or grandkids that you really care about and you want to make sure that they get what they need. If I was like really old, like to the point that, I could just die of old tomorrow, I'd be checking that will every week, like making sure that I keep it up to date. I add new items that I get to it, things like that, just to make sure that no one in my family that I genuinely care about, or no one in my life that I genuinely care about, that I want to get my things, gets screwed over by the fact that I didn't do my due diligence. I completely understand that it could be an easy thing to forget about. You write your will when you have kids, and then you completely forget it's there, and then you've got grandkids, and you still haven't gone and updated it. My Nana is planning to get around the inheritance tax by just giving money to her kids over the next few years. Smart. Absolutely. No doubt. It's definitely the way to go about it, I think. And there's some sort of agreement that money is then passed down to us. That's good. Yeah, I think Rolly was late teens, early 20s when the grandparents passed. And he was the one who was taking care of, I think it was the grandmom who died last. I can't remember which one died last, but he was the one taking care of them, and he was the one putting off his life to take care of his very aging grandparents and all this stuff. And the aunt that was like had like thanked him for like his sacrifices and stuff that he sacrificed and all these things. Like, I could never have done that. I have like a job and kids. I could never have spent this kind of time. Thank you so much. Ended up stealing all the money from the will, despite the fact that she was highly irresponsible with the money and that the grandparent didn't even like her. So very sad situation, and that's definitely not an isolated one either. I'm sure that happens fairly often. She has a good "Am I the Asshole?" Ooh. Can't wait to see that fight. Yeah. That's how it was with Rolly's family. Like, most of them were either addicts, dead, or highly irresponsible in every capacity, but especially with money. So, except for him and his siblings. So, yeah. Ooh, an asshole. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter that her grades are more important than her pain right now? Preface. If I come off as callous, it's because I'm trying to be succinct. Okay. Not a great way to start your thing, but okay. I, 46 female, have a 16-year-old daughter. In July, she was in a car accident. Most of her injuries were mild. She went to the hospital, but they let her go home after a few days of observation. But even after we got home, she still complained about a lot of pain. I was concerned and took her to our GP, but they couldn't find anything wrong. I told her it was probably in her head, and in response to the traumatic event, that she'd be fine in a few days. She stopped complaining about it after that, and everything seemed good. Fast forward to yesterday. I got an email from her teacher that she's constantly despondent in class and laying her head down and not participating. I was already seeing red from that, and I decided to check on her grades. She turned in multiple assignments late and lost points on them, which is not at all on par with her typical performance. I confronted her about it, and she was really quiet at first, like she didn't know what to say. I pushed her on it, and she started talking about pain again, which I frankly think is bullshit. She hadn't said a peep about it for 2 months, only when her grades were slipping. We started arguing about it, and I said that her grades matter more than her pain. She's a junior this year. This is not the time to be slacking. She's been in her room since, refusing to talk to anyone. She wouldn't even go to school today. I'm at a loss. She's never been so difficult, and I'm questioning whether or not I'm in the right here. Am I the asshole? Edit. I get it. I'm an awful person. I wasn't seeing past the grades and treated my daughter horribly. Thank you, especially to the medical professionals who replied. I had no idea this could be so serious. I've already booked a specialist for 2 weeks from now. Earliest appointment, and apologize to my daughter. I know I still have a lot of making up to do. We're going out for ice cream. When was this posted? Because this is a this week thing. 6 days ago. Okay. Yeah, exactly. She shut down her daughter's concerns and complaints, so the daughter stopped complaining about it and just kept it to herself. That's pretty obvious, you know? Like, for example, I have chronic back pain. It's not, like, horrifically, like, debilitating or anything like that, but after long days at work and stuff like that, it starts to flare up and it causes problems. I used to complain about it while I was at work, and of course, working as a cashier, I serve a lot of old people, and anytime I'd mention it, even while they were around, they'd say, oh, we'll just wait till you're older, as, like, this very dismissive of, like, oh, well, it can't be that bad, you're young. It's like, yeah, I'm young, but my body is broken. I don't know what about this you don't understand, and you're not seeming to comprehend, but it hurts now. I don't give a shit about how much it's going to hurt when I get older. I'll deal with that when I get there. It hurts now. You know what I mean? Like, and so after doing that, after dealing with that for so many years, I just stopped bringing it up. You know, I just deal with it the way I need to and move on. I don't bring it up at workplaces. It will definitely get worse. I have no doubt in that. And they aren't wrong, but they're also dismissive because they say it as like a, oh, well, if you think it's bad now, you know, like, yeah, it is. I don't think it is. It is. It is bad now, actively. Thank you. You know, like, they say it in a very, like, dismissive and degrading type way. It's like a, oh, you're just being a little baby about it, is the way it comes out, is the way it sounds when they say that, because they're, like, these old fuckers who definitely have better bodies than I do in terms of, like, excluding any, like, proper ailments they have, like, diagnosed ailments. I don't know why I keep trying to say ailments. Diagnosed illnesses, like, their bodies are probably about the same level of broken and fucked up as mine is in, like, the digestive way and the bone way. Granted, I don't have any proper, like, syndromes or disorders that are, like, you know, properly diagnosed, other than IBS, of course, ailments, yeah. But it won't surprise me if I end up diagnosed with something along those lines in the next 10 years, you know? So technically I have scoliosis, but that isn't really something I mention very often because it's not scoliosis to the point of needing like treatment, you know? So there's a Max moving around out there. But yeah, we agree. This asshole. I told her it was probably in her head, and in response to the traumatic event, that she'd be fine in a few days. She stopped complaining about it after that, and everything seemed good. So she stopped complaining of pain because you told her to shut up about it. I pushed her on it, and she started talking about pain again. She hasn't said a peep about it too much. You assume that because she shut up about her pain, because you told her to, that it no longer exists, and using her silence as proof while ignoring that you told her to stop talking about it. Yeah, you're the asshole. Whether this pain is physical or psychological, it's incredibly real pain. She needs help, not an asshole parent telling her to shut up and then throwing her silence back in her face. Do better. I was left disabled after a car accident, but I was out of the ER in a couple hours. She was in for a couple days. How does OP not realize how serious that is? OP, why did you dismiss and ignore her pain? Why didn't her GP refer her to a pain specialist and neurologist? Why didn't you advocate for her, fight for her? Women and girls are not treated as equals in the medical field. She needed you to believe her, and you told her it was in her head. Could you be more dismissive and condescending? Do you know how many doctors have said that to me? I was later told that my soft tissue damage would take longer to heal than if I'd simply broken my back. I already know your daughter has been in pain since the accident, but didn't feel safe in telling you. What proof do I have? Her grades aren't normal for her. What a coincidence. Chronic pain leeches joy from your soul. Being happy and lively take energy, and your daughter is all going to try to survive each day. And your daughter's is all going to try to survive each day. She feels isolated and has no hope that help will ever come. Depression sets in with the realization that her entire future looks different through the lens of chronic pain. What hope could she have when she can't even depend on mom to believe her? A lot of people don't survive their chronic pain, OP. I don't know where I'd be if my mom didn't do everything you're failing to. She knew I wasn't okay, and she fought for me. She didn't stop. What will you lose by listening to your daughter and giving her the love and support she so desperately needs? Think of what you stand to lose if you don't. Yeah. Chronic pain is legit, especially chronic pain after car accidents. Like, people want to treat like concussions like they're just this casual thing that like you sprained your ankle or something. Concussions are very, very serious. They are incredibly serious and are not the type of thing to be taken lightly. Do some people recover from them without any issues? Yes, but there are lots of people out there that get a concussion and then are permanently disabled for the rest of their lives because they didn't go seek help, or they went to sleep on the concussion, or whatever. They're incredibly dangerous things, but we hear about them so often and we treat them like, I don't know, like I said, like you twisted your ankle or something. Like, it's very serious, you know? It's like treating the flu like it's nothing because we get a flu shot every year. People still die from the flu every year. Like, it's not something to take lightly, you know? So, you're the asshole and a horrible mother. I'm glad everyone in the comments is yelling at her. Your daughter could easily have post-concussion symptoms or other issues, or PTSD. In any case, the world already has a full complement of people who minimize medical issues for women. You are not needed for that. Support your child. Yep. For fuck's sake, it's high school. Grades don't matter. Yeah, I'm glad everyone in here is kind of on the same page. Ooh, yes. Okay. Am I the asshole for serving my boyfriend's parents pizza for dinner? Ooh, that sounds good. Oh, pizza sounds good. No, we're having tacos tonight. Stop it. Tacos are also good, but right now this sounds really tasty. Hi. So this happened last night. I'm still very confused. I'm still hella confused by this whole thing. So I, 28 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 31 male, for 7 months. His family are of Italian origins, and they take a lot of pride in it. They invited me over to their house several times. Last night, his parents came over to the apartment for the first time. They said they were visiting a friend and decided to stop by for dinner. I freaked out when they said dinner because it was late, I was working, and had no time to cook, so I ordered pizza for all of us. Cut off the addictive food. I will never. The second his parents saw the pizza, they got pissed. His dad gave me a nasty stare, then said that it was that I intentionally served them pizza because they were Italians. In other words, he claimed that I was mocking them and their food, and assuming that just because they're Italian, then they'd only eat Italian food, which he called racist. I was confused. I said I didn't think it'd be interpreted that way, but he said, if you have Asian guests over, do you serve them sushi? How would you like it if we only served you McDonald's and fries every time you visit, since that's what Americans eat? I was stunned by his words. Basically, he was saying that just because they're Italian, then I shouldn't assume they like to have pizza, but who doesn't like pizza? He and my boyfriend's mom got up and said they wanted to leave. My boyfriend tried to get them to stay and take it easy, but they left eventually. He blew up by saying I messed up by serving them pizza and insulting them indirectly. He told me to call and apologize, but I said no, and that I didn't have time to cook anything after they showed up unexpectedly. He got more upset and asked if his parents needed permission to visit him. I backed off thinking he'd calm down, but he kept saying I insulted his parents and I need to apologize. I'm utterly and genuinely confused. Being Italian doesn't make you special, okay? I'm sorry. I don't know what you want. Pizza, very few people still consider pizza Italian food. Like, have you seen what Americans have done to pizza? It's not Italian anymore. I don't know what you want from me. Also, if you show up to someone's house unexpectedly without making sure it's cool to show up for a meal, what do you expect them to do? Like, yeah, they could have ordered sushi. Yet sushi is a quick and easy thing you can order for people who show up at your house expecting food. Like, pizza is an easy thing to order. You can order that shit online and order it, and it takes 20-30 minutes to get there, and voila, food. You know, like, you showed up unexpectedly to someone's house. What do you expect them to do? Cook you a full-ass meal that they weren't prepared to make for a group so big? Like, what? Racist towards Italians. Jesus Christ. Not the asshole. If your boyfriend was so upset that his parents got pizza, why didn't he cook for them? Yeah. It sounds like they were looking for a reason to be upset. When people don't have time to cook, they order pizza. Your guests being of Italian origin makes no difference. They're just being assholes. Next time, she should just order Olive Garden. They wanted to be insulted by fake Italian food. Olive Garden is the way to go. Pizza, by comparison, is tame and hardly even just an Italian thing anymore. Look at Chicago deep dish pizza. Yeah. My sister hated American pizza. Oh, it's so good. It's so tasty. I bet y'all's pizza is boring as fuck over there, so. Pro tip. Him. My parents and colleagues have just dropped by for dinner. You. Cool. What are you cooking? Beginning and end. Yep. Ordering out for pizza is as American as it gets. They were just looking for an excuse to be insulted. Yep. She said it's covered in too much sauce. That's what makes it so good, is all the sauce. Like, y'all know pizza is my favorite thing. I eat pizza flavored everything. Like pizza sandwiches, pizza rolls. I like pizza rolls. I like pizza itself. Like, half the shit I eat is got pizza in the name somewhere. I have this pizza pasta bowl that I eat sometimes. So good. So good. A lot of red flags here. Damn right. Everything will just fall off of it. Not true. Not if you're eating it correctly. All sounds very natural. Highly natural, of course. Homegrown. It does. It does actually taste like pizza and not chemicals. So. Ooh, we have a baby boy. We have a baby boy. We've got a red flag already. Am I the asshole for being upset my wife didn't stay in the hospital with me? So I, 35 male, was in a motorcycle accident earlier this week. My wife, 35 female, has 3 kids from a previous marriage, 17, 10, and 5. We have a 1-year-old together. I had a collapsed lung and had a chest tube put in, a broken leg and arm, and torn ligaments in my knee. I've been in the hospital since Monday. She came out the day of my accident and stayed until about 4 a.m., was back the same morning, but has gone home each night. Yesterday, she only stayed until about 1 p.m. to prepare the house for the hurricane and didn't come at all today because the weather wasn't great, and she said she didn't want to leave the kids. Yeah. I told her that I was upset that I basically went through everything alone, that I would have done anything to be with her. She told me that she's been there as much as possible and it's not fair to dump all of the kids on her daughter, especially since I'll need a lot of help when I get home and her daughter will need to help with the kids when she works. I told her marriage means through thick and thin and I feel abandoned. Now I'm getting one-word answers from her. Am I the asshole for feeling like an afterthought? Yes, you are. And the fact that you have to put it at the end, am I the asshole for feeling like an afterthought? Yeah, you sound like a little bitch baby. She's got 4 kids to take care of, and you're worried about yourself? A child. We are asking nicely that you stop calling OP man, baby, man, child, or any variation of this insult. Maybe you're still on drugs and aren't aware of how much of an asshole you are. It's not as though she's leaving you to go to party. She has kids, including one of yours. You're the asshole for not understanding that a 17-year-old shouldn't be responsible for 3 kids aged 10 and during a hurricane. The situation isn't ideal, but it's obvious to me that she's there as much as she can. Marriage means through thick and thin, but so does parenthood. The fact that you're not more understanding of her trying to balance all of her responsibilities during a hurricane is bizarre. Yes. You make your pizza at home? Nice. That's too much work for me.
You.
Walk time?
Yes, it's walk time.
Have fun.
Okay.
Bring me back my game.
Okay, I will.
And my papers. I love that they had to put this up top. Stop calling OP a man baby or a man child. Well, then he should stop being a man baby or man child. You're the asshole. 1. Motorcycles are inherently dangerous. You take this risk every time you ride. 2. You know there are 4 kids at home. Who is supposed to take care of them all day? 3. By your post, it sounds like you live in Florida or wherever the hurricane is hitting. Someone needs to prepare. 4. She has been there every day. You didn't go through anything by yourself except sleeping. Motorcycles, otherwise known as donor cycles. Facts. 2 assholes today, guys. Amazing. Okay. Not enough info. Ooh. We have an unbiased one to read today, friends. Am I the asshole for not paying my niece's college tuition? I, 45 male, am a father of 3, 25, 21, and 18. But I also care for my niece, 17, after her father passed away. My wife, 45 female, and I have always treated her like family, and we give her things equally to the others so that she doesn't feel left out. I honestly really care about her, but financially I can't support her all my life. When my eldest moved away, I had more money to spare, so I was able to get her more things. My daughter is now going away to college, so my niece was excited and came to my wife and I about the colleges she liked. I told her it was great she was thinking of college, and I said it would be good to apply for scholarships now so it would be easier later. She laughed and asked why when her tuition would be paid for. I told her that no, I wouldn't. I only had money to pay for my kids, but I would help her out with basic necessities. She was silent after that, then went to her room. Apparently she spoke to my father because he called me in a rage and said I was being cruel to her, especially since my brother was always close to me when he was alive. I told him I just didn't have that type of money saved, and he said if I cared for her, I would have started saving as soon as I took her in. If your dad's so concerned about it, how about he help pay for it? Why can't he help pay for it? My brother died very young, so he didn't have much saved, and my niece's mother's side isn't offering anything. I admit I could have told her earlier that I wouldn't pay for her tuition, but I didn't. Am I the asshole? Additional information. Yes, I received Social Security, but my brother had little credit, so it wasn't much, so I pay more. I'm her legal guardian. I didn't adopt her. I'm looking into FAFSA. I mean, even if you were going to help her pay for college, she should still look into scholarships. Like, anywhere you can save money, the better. Like, Info. If you are in the United States, did you legally adopt, or are you simply her guardian? Fill out a FAFSA. Yes. You should fill out a FAFSA regardless. Info. Have you been receiving Social Security, death benefits for her this whole time? My sister received $205 a month for me after our mom died. That's outrageously low. Probably didn't even cover your food expenses after the age of like 10. Jesus. Yeah. I'm going to say you're the asshole, not because you're not paying for your niece's tuition. She's been with you for 6 years. Oh, really? Did I miss that part? Oh, he didn't say how long ago. Yeah, if your dad's so furious, why isn't he offering to pay for her college? He could have started saving when his granddaughter was orphaned or born. Yeah. You're the asshole. I also take care of my niece. Do you mean raising her? Because this isn't babysitting or some stray you took in. Always treat her like family. She is family. Give her things equally to others. Well, apparently, no, you aren't. I don't understand how this is not just now coming up. You're telling me you have never had a discussion with this child about her future. What were you planning to do when she turned 18 if she didn't leave for college? Also, I started college at 17 because I hadn't turned 18 yet. So the fact that it's only just not coming up when she's 17 is kind of bonkers. Yeah. FAFSA shit's confusing and complicated. She should have been ready to apply for scholarships regardless if there was money saved for her, just as your children should have. Are you a legal guardian or did you adopt? Did she get survivor's benefits? There are options and opportunities available to her, but these should have been discussed earlier. Absolutely. I think it's like not quite the asshole, but like also kind of the asshole. Like it makes sense that like by your fourth kid, you're not going to be able to afford full college anymore. That's, just kind of how that goes. But at the same time, like everyone else is saying, this is information that you should have brought up sooner with her. And yeah, she should be applying for scholarships regardless. Like for her to just assume she doesn't need to apply for scholarships. Like I had free tuition. I still needed scholarships to pay for the rest of the shit. So the fact that she doesn't know that she's going to need scholarships for everything else, even if her tuition was paid for, like this is information y'all should have been talking about, yeah. I'd say not the asshole because you hadn't planned for her from a baby like others, and what these other people might not understand is that coming up with funds for college takes a lot longer than 6 years, and you already had 3 kids to care for. I'd recommend maybe co-signing on her loans, or maybe if you can swing taking out a second mortgage to help her. Your dad can stop being an asshole and help by doing the same. I'm still going to try and help her, and I think her older cousins will too. Yeah. And she should have been applying for, like I said, college is expensive. You should be applying for scholarships even if you come from a rich family. Not if you're coming from like a crazy rich family that, like if you're coming from a crazy rich family, it's kind of rude to apply for scholarships and take that money from other people. Wait, this says I didn't adopt her, but I'm her legal guardian. Oh, this is, okay, I just forgot what that said. Okay. Definitely a weird situation, but ooh, family drama. We love to see it. Probably won't be on too much longer. Once Max gets back, we need to go to the store, and we have packages to return and things like that to the UPS store that's next to it, and we need to get the taco stuff and all that. So probably less than a half an hour. So not long after Max gets back. I don't know if Max is going to like do yoga or anything once they get back since they're going on a walk, but just so you're aware, we won't be on too much longer. Okay. Am I the asshole for leaving my family in squalor and going to a resort? So let's begin with this. I make decent money, but I am in no way rich. I like to take my family on vacation and have been stymied for the last couple of years. So this summer, I decided to do something I thought was pretty great. I paid for my family to go to Disneyland. Not just my wife and kids, but also my father and mother-in-law, as well as my wife's brother and his wife and kids. Oh, my wife's brother and his wife and kids. Okay, so 10 people. Jesus Christ. What do you mean you're not rich? What do you mean you're not rich? You paying to go to Disneyland for 10 people. That's rich money. I don't know what you're talking about. The fuck? I also rented a McMansion with a pool and everything. You're rich, man. I don't know what to tell you. I bought all the groceries and rented a truck so I could ferry the luggage, and in any case of emergency, we would have a vehicle. My kids are in their teens, and my nephews are a few years younger. My immediate family did not require any help with the kids, and realistically, neither did my in-laws. So, we get to the house, and the problems start. The room I had picked out for my wife and I is obviously the nicest. My father-in-law and mother-in-law chose to stay in the pool house. This left five other bedrooms for 6 people. Brother-in-law, sister-in-law, 2 kids, their 2 kids. Simple, right? Not so fast. Why did I get the best room? Well, because you paid for it. Why did I get the best room? They hadn't had some nice time alone in years. Why did my kid pick the room with the in-suite? Why did one room have a bigger TV? Why are we having to cook some meals? Why don't we just order every meal? Jesus fucking Christ. I just went to my room and I went to sleep. First day, more BS. Why do we have to wait in lines? Why don't we just get the tour guide that lets us skip the lines? My wife started joining in. She said we shouldn't be cooking at the house and that it wasn't fair to her and sister-in-law to be stuck with the cleaning. My kids always help. I do too. Brother-in-law sits on his ass though. My in-laws joined the fun at the end of the day. They didn't want to wait for the Uber. Could they take the truck and meet us back at the house? My wife said to let them. I got sick of it. I ordered everyone pizza, and then while they were gorging themselves, I called an Uber and I went to a hotel that I am a super shiny member of. You're a hotel member. You are rich. Okay. We're giving you a red flag. We're giving you a red flag for denying your richness. Okay. This is rich behavior. Yes, your family's being an asshole. You're not the asshole in this situation, but you're an asshole for not registering the fact that you are in fact rich. You're rich. I don't know what you want to hear. You may not be Jeffrey Bezos money rich, but you clearly make more than enough money to be qualified as a rich, okay? Like, Jesus Christ. Huh? No one who is poor is a member of a hotel suite. Like, what the fuck? I called an Uber and went to a hotel that I'm a super shiny member of. No poor people is the member of a hotel, okay? I used my points to book a suite for the next 6 days. Yeah, they are assholes, though. Absolutely, they're being entitled assholes. So yeah, I agree. He is not the asshole in this situation, but he is an asshole for not registering the fact that he is in fact rich. I texted my wife and told her I would catch up with everyone in the morning at the park. She was mad that I left her to deal with those ungrateful, greedy people. I'm sitting in the pool, enjoying a gin and tonic, and writing this because I left the park after I saw the new superhero stuff at the park. Her brother and sister-in-law are now bugging her to give up the nice room she is now alone in. Now she is not on their side. Too late. So, am I the asshole for leaving them all to sort out their own stuff after I went out of my way to do something nice and they crapped all over it? Edit, I'm going to get ready for the game. Thank you guys. You've given me a lot to think about. Yikes, edit. My wife went beast mode. She is spending the night with me at the hotel after the game. I am back at the house tomorrow. My brother-in-law has been told if he even looks at our room, he and his wife are going to a motel. In-laws were told to Uber wherever they wanted. We are still taking everyone out for one dinner, but all other meals not made in the house are pay your own way, and brother-in-law is responsible for cleaning up after meals. Honestly, didn't think she had it in her. Good on your wife. See, I guess you leaving put her in your position because she would be like the next highest ranking in the house essentially because her husband is the one paying for everything. So then I'm sure they all started bugging her about it all. So she was then able to see your perspective a bit better. And good on her. Good on her for getting there. Not the asshole. This is actually hilarious. You took a vacation for your entitled relative's vacation. Sorry. You took a vacation from your entitled relative's vacation. Well, maybe you shouldn't have you should have warned your... Fuck. I cannot read. Well, maybe you should have warned your wife and brought her along and left the other relatives to figure things out for themselves. I can't even fathom someone sponsoring me for a free vacation like that and saying anything but thank you so much. Let me get your suitcase for you. This is fantastic. Next year, tell them since that last vacation wasn't up to their standards, you're going to let them pay for this one and show you how it's done properly. Oh yeah, this is a one-off. Never again. I thought I was doing something the nephews would appreciate, but they are also telling me what I should do. Yeah. Not the asshole, your in-laws are greedy. Your wife should have shut them down right away. All it would take is her saying that they can either enjoy the trip as you intended or go home. Hopefully this is the last time you invite the ingrates anywhere. Enjoy your alone time because by the time your wife gets home, she's going to be at the end of her rope too. Odds are she will be joining me. Her parents have joined in saying that her brother deserves a big room. I'm not sure why. If I argue with her parents, she will side with them automatically, and her parents adore her brother even though he is somewhat useless. Not just because of money or anything, he's just a garbage person who thinks the world owes him, and his wife isn't much better. I would have sworn my nephews were better though. I have never seen this side of them. Kind of a red flag that she'd side with her parents, but you know. This was hilarious, by the way. And you paid for a vacation for 10 people? Who are you? The dad from Home Alone? Yeah, obviously not the asshole here. Next time, feel free to bring me on vacation with you. I will absolutely be 100% grateful and not complain about anything. Other than how much my feet hurt after walking around at Disney. I wonder if my other package is here. Amazon, my company Amazon, like working at Amazon, the work portion of Amazon, not the like part that sends me messages about like shit I've ordered, loves to text me, email me, and send me a notification through the app all about the same thing. I just realized you're earning holiday with Amazon immediately. Where in the US? What do you mean? Oh yeah, I'm earning like vacation and stuff, yeah. Vacation, pay time off, all that stuff. I've got an hour and 45 minutes of vacation time saved up. It takes a long time to save up vacation time, but it does not take very much time to save up for paid time off and unpaid time off. So. I was going to say something, but I don't remember what it was. So, it's gone now. Oh well. Am I the asshole for not inviting the next door neighbor girl to our backyard party? We live on a block filled with kids. Every now and then, I like to get a bounce house and throw a little backyard party for them. I threw another one last week. I want my sons to have good memories with his neighbor kid friends, because they all go to different schools. I told the parents about the party, and that was lieu of an invitation. I didn't invite the 8-year-old who lives next door. Why? Why exactly? My fucking god, she screams over everything. It's not even a scream, it's ear-piercing screeching. I cannot stand it. I can tune out the loud sounds from my 7- and 9-year-old boys and their friends, but not that girl screaming. It's like she sees a bug, she screams. She thinks someone is chasing her, she screams. She jumps off a swing, she screams. I'm pretty sure it's just for attention, but I can't spend my Saturday listening to it in my backyard. Like I'd end up yelling at her, and I don't want to do that or come across like an angry dad. Her parents didn't ask me if something was wrong because she wasn't invited. I bluntly told them that I just can't take the screaming. They said she's no louder than any other kid, even though she is much louder. I told them I didn't want to discuss it any further. If and when she can stop her screaming, then I'll be more happy to invite her to my backyard parties. They were deeply offended. I'm not looking for suggestions to abate her screaming or possible explanations to her screaming. I just don't want to hear it or be around it. Completely fair. Oh, yeah, they messaged me about, like, benefits updates and stuff like that, but they send me an email, they text me, and they send me a notification through the app. And I'm like, I don't need all three of these. How do I turn these off? Like, I don't either text or email me. I don't need both, okay? Yeah, it's your backyard party. You don't have to invite people if you don't want to. Exactly. I have a squirt bottle for when my parrot gets into screaming mode. It works just fine. Yeah, not the asshole. That's an easy not the asshole. Ooh, pickup parenting. Pickup parent drama. Ooh. Am I the asshole for yelling at another parent during pickup? I tried to type this out without using the name, and it really wasn't comprehensible. So if anyone I know sees this, no, you didn't. Here's what happened. My son's name is Robin. Just those 5 letters. It's not a nickname. The mom of one of the kids in his class is convinced his name is Robert. She volunteers at pickup. I'll drive up and she'll go get my son yelling Robert. Now, the first few weeks I brushed it off because learning names of a bunch of different kids is very hard. I would just tell her when she came back over with my son, actually, his name is Robin. I've said this almost every single day for over a month now. Last week, I saw her at a school function and went up and introduced myself and basically said, I'm Robin's father. You might recognize me from pickup. By the way, his name isn't Robert. Her response confounded me. She said Robin is a girl's name, as it's unisex, but it's way more common for boys, so what? It's not a good nickname for Robert, so she'll call him his real name instead. I tried to correct her since Robin isn't a nickname, but she wandered away. The next time she walked up to my car, I got annoyed and said, I'm here for Robin, R-O-B-I-N. She did it again. On Friday, when she called my son Robert, I asked her what her problem was in a very loud voice. I shouted loud enough that a teacher ran over. The volunteer mom ran away, and I tried to explain. The teacher looked at me like I had 3 heads and said she would go get my son. I got an email later asking me to come in Monday for a meeting. I don't know how to approach this. Should I apologize for yelling? Should I demand an apology or the constant disrespect? Should I ask the mom not be allowed to volunteer anymore, or at least not get my son? I feel like I tried to be reasonable, but maybe I was too sensitive. Small update, my wife did reach out to Charlie's mom on Facebook to ask if the weird pickup mom called Charlie by a different name as well. According to Charlie's mom, weird pickup mom calls Charlie Charlotte, and Charlie is her legal name. Not that it matters. Charlie's mom is not a fan of this, but she assumed it was a mistake and didn't want to say anything because she knows pickup is hectic and confusing, and there are a lot of kids with similar names. My wife shared my story, and Charlie's mom agreed to email me this information so I could bring it up in the meeting if needed. Oh, so this is consistent behavior. Sounds like this person is transphobic and also just rude. Charlie's mom also said that she would reach out to some other parents with questions about weird pickup mom. A lot of these kids went to kindergarten together, but our son did not, so we don't know many of these parents very well. Charlie's mom was really nice and helpful, and she and my wife even set up a play date for our kids. So regardless of how the meeting turns out, one nice thing came out of it. Meeting and pickup. First of all, my wife came to the meeting with me, which was hugely inconvenient for her, but I'm glad she was there because she really doesn't tolerate bullshit. So we got there, and the teacher and principal were there. My wife didn't really let them say anything until she'd gone over everything with weird pickup mom in relation to our son and also Charlie and potentially other kids. The principal was really surprised. The principal said that the teacher would talk to the other mom. I apologized for yelling, and we all shook hands. At pickup that day, weird pickup mom wouldn't look me in the eyes. She didn't call Robin Robert or by his actual name. She was quiet the whole time. Sorry, it's so anticlimactic. Not the asshole email back. I look forward to meeting with you to discuss volunteer parent bullying my child as an appropriate course of action going forward to prevent this from continuing. Yeah, that's really weird. Not the asshole. What is her problem? Did she do this to any other kids? Whose names did she decide are inappropriate? Charlene. Worst pickup mom in the comments, right? God, that's so weird. Ooh, family drama. Alrighty. Just making sure I didn't get any messages from Max. Max is doing some printing while they're out. So, because I got to print the label for one of my returns. I decided to return the old earbuds and start using the new ones instead. They tend to, sorry, they seem to fit in my ears better and stay more securely so far. Plus, they're cheaper, so even if they're just as difficult to keep in my ears, there's still a better deal because the sound quality is just as good, if not better. And they were half the price of the other ones. So, sad thing is that the new earbuds are also charged by micro USB and not USB-C, but whatever. So you don't have a printer yourselves? No, we don't. We don't have to print very often, so we just haven't bothered because the leasing office has a printer we're allowed to use, so we don't print very often. So we the only things we ever have to print are like the occasional insurance thing and return labels for packages. So it's not worth spending all that money on a printer. Printers are so expensive to upkeep. Am I the asshole for not kicking my best friend out of my wedding after she spilled a drink on my sister-in-law at my wedding? Around 3 months, I, 25 female, got married to a husband, 27 male. I've been hearing about this from my in-laws nonstop. Around 3 months. You got married 3 months in? I'm confused. I'm confused at the beginning of this. Maybe 3 months ago, around 3 months ago, I got married to him. My husband has a younger sister, Alice, 22, who in my opinion is a total brat. Alice has some type of childhood sickness, but she overcame it. However, his parents were extremely lenient with her to the point where she cannot be corrected in any form without it being a big deal. She has been let go from multiple jobs because of this, and she doesn't have many friends, and always has to be the center of attention. At my other sister-in-law's birthday, their parents got Alice a gift just in case she got jealous. Oh my god, she's a grown adult. What the fuck? I am the only child, and the only sisterly figure I have is... Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I can't read. I am an only child, and the only sisterly figure I have has to be my best friend, Marie. We met in 3rd grade, and since we're both only children, we instantly clicked. We are fiercely protective of each other. My husband and I decided to have a summer wedding, and to my surprise, Alice showed up wearing a lacy white dress. If you told me she picked this out of a wedding catalog, I would have believed you. Between the wedding and the main reception, we had cocktail hour. People kept asking me about Alice, and I was becoming visibly annoyed. A lot of people thought she was my husband's ex instead of his sister. I could tell the situation was pissing Marie off. And I watched Marie walk over to my husband's family, greet them, and on our way back, she tripped and fell by Alice while holding a glass full of red wine. Alice ran into the bathroom with mother-in-law following her, and his dad came up to us and started to demand that Marie leave. I told them no, Marie is a lightweight, and it was a mistake. Husband backed me up and said that since Marie is thin, she can't handle as much alcohol, but we'd make sure she sobered up before the reception. At the reception, Alice was wearing a beautiful green dress brought to you by Ross, and Marie magically felt better. My in-laws have been bringing up the incident nonstop, but I have a hard time feeling bad, even though I know it wasn't an accident. I love that your husband backed her up, knowing because your husband must feel the same way about Alice's behavior. Iconic, honestly. Not the asshole, your in-laws created a monster, and your friend was just fixing the white dress issue. Everyone knows you don't wear a white dress to a wedding, unless you have like explicitly clear directions to do so. So like I've come across them online before where the bride actually will wear a black dress and request that all the other dress wearers showing up wear white dresses. I've seen that before. So that would be an instance where wearing a white dress to a wedding is absolutely fine. But generally speaking, it's just a general rule of thumb. You don't wear white to a wedding, just like you wear black to a funeral. Like it's just a spoken rule. That's how this works, or an unspoken rule. Sorry. Clearly they had a backup dress, so what's the problem? Sounds like a difficult request that everyone wear white. Not really. Not if you have a lot of time to plan in advance. And she didn't like ask them to all wear white wedding dresses. She just asked them to all wear white. In general, just wear white, you know. So, not the asshole. Your best friend is awesome. This is what it's about. Do not feel bad or guilty at all. Your in-laws need to quit coddling their brat they created, and they need to quit being so childish to bring this up. You should tell them to grow up and move on. Kudos to your husband for backing you up. Red wine and the wedding dress. Again, I swear the story gets posted at least once a week. And the usual white to a wedding story. Yeah. I have a lot of people commenting and DMing saying this post is fake because it's so common. What you guys fail to realize is that it's so common because people are fucking crazy and entitled. There are so many narcissistic women who cannot let anyone else shine in their presence. My sister-in-law is that type of woman. I've seen her cry because she didn't get a turkey leg during Thanksgiving dinner at the ripe age of 20. Please wear white to her wedding if the day ever comes. Better yet, do a pregnancy announcement. I've seen a lot of those too. Wear white and not in a turkey leg, someone said. Iconic. No. Screw a leg, the meat is better. Agreed. Why would you want the leg? Like, what? Oh, my arm is sore from this shot. Can we figure that shit out ASAP? I really can't be having my neck and arm both being sore at work tomorrow. This isn't, and my feet, because my feet still hurt. Like, this isn't, no. Red flags for my body. All the red flags for my body. All of them. Every single red flag for my body. Am I the asshole for missing my grandchild's birth to attend my other daughter's wedding? No, you're not. The end. I don't need to read the rest. Guaranteed it will still be there. Yeah. Okay. I am the mother of two wonderful daughters, Sophia 32 and Nicole 26, and I'm really not sure if I was cruel to Sophia for my decision or not. Nicole got married this year, and Sophia had her first child, which was my first grandchild. Oh, it's your first grandchild. I've had a good relationship with both of my daughters, and I've always tried to make sure neither of them feel like I favored the other. But I admit they... I can't read. Give me a package.
Yep. I guess you watched the guy at the front desk struggle for 15 minutes to print these pieces of paper.
Ooh. Amazon.
That's for me.
Is that an Amazon catalog?
Yep.
Weird.
They spent way too much money to print this bullshit.
Hand that to me.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Is your package in here?
No, it's on the counter.
Okay, I'll leave it on the counter.
Ah, my arm. Max. Game. So I will be putting this onto my console tonight. So it's on my to-do list. We might start playing it next week, but we'll see. Hey, Max. Can you come here, please? Motion sickness, the game, honestly.
What?
Are you planning on, like, showering or yogaing or anything like that? Or...
No, I took a walk. I'm done.
Okay. I'll wrap up after this post then, so we can head back out and go to the store, return all the packages. Do you have yours ready and packed up and all that?
No. I guess I could. No, I'm fucking tired.
You might as well pack it up because we're gonna take all these others anyways. So, God, why does my neck hurt so much? This is not acceptable behavior. And the thing is, it doesn't hurt from work because it started hurting like 2 days ago, so it's not work related. So I don't understand.
They just sent me a paper copy of my blood results that I could view in the app forever ago.
Yep. Blank piece of paper. They do that.
Yeah, basically.
Employee Resources Center. What for?
At least it says Madeline, last name redacted, Max, in quotation marks.
Last name redacted? Lol.
Yeah. If they really want to stalk me online, they can find it. Jimmy
I just expected your
but
first name to be redacted.
They know it. They've heard it before.
Well, there's only 2 people here, and one of those is Jimmy, and the other one I assume is Stray lurking in the background.
Yeah.
So it's either Stray or Rookie lurking. I'm not sure which one.
I don't really care as long as they don't call me that name.
It's Stray.
And Jimmy would never. So. And Stray would also never.
They tried, lol. He said they
did
tried.
try.
They made an attempt. Again, it's information I have deleted. Okay, Max. Question. You are a grandparent to 2 beautiful daughters.
Okay.
One of them.
Grandparent to 2 beautiful daughters?
Yes.
Not how that works. Not how that works.
You have 2 beautiful daughters.
There you go.
One of them is about to give birth to your first grandchild, and the other one is about to get married. Same day. Which one do you go to?
That's fucking rude of them, but I go to the marriage.
Correct, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the wedding was probably planned for a long time, and then it's not their fault the water decided to break the day of the wedding, you know, like...
Well, yeah, obviously you plan it longer than 9 months in advance, but, like, it's not like you're going to be in the birth room watching the baby come out anyways.
Yeah.
So what does it matter?
Yeah. That's what this is. That's the scenario in this Am I the Asshole? Also, this person is only getting their first grandchild from their 32-year-old daughter. Your parents.
I kind of feel bad that my parents don't have grandchildren already, but, like...
I love that your mom just gave up on dyeing her hair until she got grandkids because she could just tell it wasn't going to happen anytime soon, and she was tired of dealing with it.
I mean, she's, like, 57? It's kind of old to still be dyeing your hair.
Tell that to my mother.
Your mom's not 57.
No, but she could be. She still would dye her hair.
Yeah.
The day my mom goes gray will be the day she calls me Nico. So.
I think my grandma was dyeing her hair until she was, like, in her 60s. But that's just a her thing.
The day I start going gray, I'm going gray, motherfucker. And that day will be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, but you're a boy. It's different for boys.
Not really.
Yeah, it is.
Have you seen my Uncle Chris?
Men are considered distinguished when they have gray hair.
Not
Women
at
are
20 years
considered
old.
Well, Chris looks distinguished.
Chris has looked distinguished since I was born. Like, he had salt pepper hair when I was born 23 years ago.
Like, people like that on men, but people don't hold women with gray hair in high esteem. Everybody's wanting that salt and pepper haired dilf. Like, you're not looking for a gray haired MILF, though.
I am. Have you seen how good gray hair looks on ladies? Like, your mom looks great.
My mom looks fantastic.
And she hasn't aged at all. The gray hair hasn't made her look like she's any older.
No.
So, she just looks like a cool mom.
Mm-hmm.
So, having gray roots ages you way more than having all gray hair, in my opinion. So, Like guys who are starting to bald versus are all the way bald, like they look older with like a cul-de-sac than they do completely shaved. So, you know. My mom is dyeing her hair at about 48. I'm sure she will continue for ages. My nan was also the same forever. They just fit well in the library now. Oh yeah, Jimmy titled this Motion Sickness the Game.
Nice.
Which is accurate.
So
I will be
able to play like 2 seconds at a time.
Yeah. I will be very motion sick. I'll be uploading it to my PS5 tonight while you sleep. So it's ready for next week if I decide to play it next week. So since obviously I won't be able to play it this week because this is the last stream of the week. Very sad. Because I have a stupid job now. Ew. Gross. Okay. I had a good relationship with both my daughters. I've always tried to make sure neither of them feel like I favored one or the other, but I admit there were some rough patches with Sophia, the oldest, the one who's having a baby. When Nicole got engaged, she asked if I would walk her down the aisle since her father has never been in her life. I asked her what about her uncles or brother, and she said no, she wanted me. I was more than happy to agree and helped her plan her wedding. My daughter Sophia announced her pregnancy around the beginning of the year. The timing panned out that she would be due after Nicole's wedding, so she asked if I would be in the delivery room with her and stay with her and her husband for a few weeks after the baby was born to help out. I was very excited to, and since we already live in the same town and see each other almost daily, staying with her would not have been a problem at all. Instead, Sophia went into labor almost 3 weeks early. There it is. The afternoon before Nicole's wedding. I missed Sophia's first call because I was already almost 2.5 hours away where Nicole lives and helping set things up and doing last-minute errands to help. When I called her back, I found out she was in labor and she wanted me to get there as soon as possible. I told Sophia I would do the best I could and would let her know immediately when I'd be there. I explained the situation to Nicole, who understandably also wanted me to be there for her, but understood that Sophia wanted me with her too. Nicole was able to move her ceremony to the morning and make it a quick 25-minute-ish ceremony, and there would be just a few hours gap between the ceremony and the reception. I thought this was a good compromise that would let me be there for both of my girls. I called Sophia and she wanted me there that night. I asked her if her husband was with her and she said yes. So I asked her to please consider that I am consider him as a second choice until I could get there. Sophia got upset and told me to forget about it. I got to the hospital early the next afternoon and missed the birth by a couple of hours. Sophia was so mad she didn't want me to come in when she moved to a room. I thought that was understandable and she would talk to me soon, but it's been a couple of weeks now and I've tried to apologize to her. I've talked to my son-in-law and he said they're both mad that I chose to ditch Sophia when she needed me most for a party. She didn't need you. She didn't fucking die, did she? No, I don't think so. The birth went just fine, doesn't it? Like, your sister moved her wedding for you in an attempt to be able to let her get there on time. Hold the baby in next time. I don't know. Like, what the fuck? Edit, I did not stay for Nicole's reception. I left immediately following the ceremony. She still had to wait a few hours from the end of her wedding ceremony in the morning until her reception that afternoon. It could not be pushed back later in the day due to the reception venue having an event in the evening. Yeah, you're not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm really surprised by the responses here. A wedding is not just a party. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event and almost by definition has parents there to celebrate, unless there's an exceptionally strained relationship. Childbirth is a medical procedure that usually only has 1 or 2 support people. In many families, happens 2 or 3 more times. It's nice, but it's not common or even expected to have grandma there. It's not like you plan to attend one over the other. The baby came 3 weeks early. Your other daughter rescheduled her wedding in hopes of you making both work out. How could anyone assume you intended to prioritize one kid over the other, or that people weren't accommodating enough to consider what was done here just baffles my mind. Yeah, and the sister had her husband with her. She wasn't alone or unsupported. Yeah. Exactly. Sophia was not invited, so she came to the wedding. Weird, she wasn't already at the wedding also. Sophia was invited but didn't want to go to the wedding that close to her due date as Smells getting dressed up and lots of other people were a bother to her. So Sophie missed her own sister's wedding, and had you not been able to attend Nicole's wedding, she would have not had either her mom or her sister there. I'm sorry you're in this position, but it's an impossible one. You're not the asshole for not being able to be in 2 places at once. Absolutely. It wasn't a party. It was her sister's wedding where you, her mother, were walking her down the aisle. It sounds like she was wanting your complete attention to the detriment and disappointment of her sister and potential of ruining the wedding. I'm wondering if this has been a pattern between the two, if they have often fought for individual attention. I could see it being more of an issue if she was having serious life-threatening complications and or if her husband couldn't be there, but she was not alone, and you made a compromise as the best able to help both your daughters at an important part of their lives. Yeah, plus it sounds like OP left for the hospital after the ceremony, before the reception, which is the actual party part of the wedding. She literally bailed on the party to try to be there for Sophie. Yeah. Ooh, my package is 10 stops away. Ooh, it's 6 stops away. Ooh. Yeah, Nicole changing the ceremony was glossed over like a tiny detail, but it's actually a pretty big deal. I can't imagine pulling off something like that last minute. Absolutely. Not even a little bit. Not an asshole, not even a little bit. Her husband was with her. Yeah. You could have waited to pick up your game till later then. Well, Max had to go to the leasing office to get the stuff to print so we could return the packages, and just said they'd pick up the mail while they were there. And these packages are going to come to the door. So, and we're going to go back out to deliver the packages, but we needed to get the packaging stuff before that. I've done a lot of ordering this week, actually.
They printed it double-sided. So this and this are together. Why print something double-sided?
I love that he spent 15 minutes trying to print it and then printed it wrong.
For y'all's reference, this is an Amazon returns. An Amazon return, and you're supposed to have the slip you put inside the package, and then you've got the return label, obviously. They printed the slip that goes inside the package on the back.
This goes on the outside of the package, and this goes on the inside of the package.
So.
This is just backup. It's not a big deal. This is just backup. This goes inside in case the mailing label gets damaged. The likelihood of the mailing label getting damaged is slim. In the case it doesn't get damaged, they'll just return it to us anyways, and we'll just do it again. I don't think one of these was already on the box that I have sitting out there, so that will also need to go in the box, but okay. That's so nuts.
I just saw that and wanted to show you.
It's not a big deal, but it is stupid. I have a package that's 5 stops away. Magic print, yes. Oh, yeah. How much ordering did I do this week? Quite a bit. I did quite a bit. I ordered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items this week. Ow. But I'm actively returning 2 items right now. Why does my wrist hurt all of a sudden? Like, I didn't even do anything. What the hell? It bugs me when my body hurts for no apparent reason. Like, if it's gonna hurt, at least make it, like, make sense, you know? Like my feet hurting after I get off work or something. Like, that makes sense. Like, of course, duh, it should hurt. If it doesn't hurt, I'm confused, you know? But, like, when I just get a random pain for no apparent reason, it's like, where did this come from? I don't understand. And that's far more frustrating to me than the pain that makes sense. So, the amount of damage on the environment you must do with all these, honestly, you're not wrong. You're completely correct. No lies were said. Um, pulling the tracking information back up. Sophia's pretty selfish, honestly. They were both once in a lifetime experiences for both daughters. 5 stops away. I'm lucky if I don't order one every few months. And that includes for all my family. Oh, I order shit all the time. Clearly. Seems pretty apparent, but yeah. Sophia needs to
get in the bin.
Yeah. Felt weird that I hadn't gotten to use any of my buttons yet. Yes, that will be the end for today. For this week, sadly. It ends so quickly. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see y'all next week. We'll probably start Spider-Man on Monday or Tuesday. No, we'll start Spider-Man on Tuesday. Monday is She-Hulk. Hopefully I'll be able to get She-Hulk up for you all tomorrow before I go to work, but it'll be up tomorrow either before I go to work or once I get home from work. So the full-length version will be up on Patreon at some point. Before the end of the week. But yeah, let's see. There's not really anyone to raid with, so thank you for hanging out. As per usual, I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next week. Try not to pull any of these during that time. And I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.